Hi, y'all. Oh, happy day. Happy Monday. You know, I'm just sitting here under the tree. And I thought, you know, the things that we focus on create our entire emotional well being. So this morning I was focused on like the smallest little thing that my husband did that annoyed me. And I allowed that to make me forget how magical my friggin' life is. Like, I said to my daughter that I don't want for anything. Everything that I need in life, I have. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back. I have food to eat. I even have a phone to film videos on. I have people who love me. I mean, I'm trying to think of more things that I need. I don't need the phone, but I have it. It's a want. I have it. So I also said to her, I have everything that I need and most things that I want. So here I am sitting under the tree in silence because silence is very important and I have lost sight of that. So I've been listening to horoscopes and listening to TED Talks and doing all of these things, busying myself instead of just spending time and just being and see what comes through. So when I did my meditation this morning, okay, let's go back because I'm getting off track. So let's go back to why I started this video and saying to be grateful for the things that you have. And that even though you may not be where you want to be in life, if you think long and hard and you're very honest with yourself, you likely have everything that you need. Let that sink in. If you have a device to watch this video on, you are doing much better than many people around you. In maybe not in your immediate circle, but definitely within 7 degrees of separation, you are doing much better than a lot of other people. Yet, every day, you focus on how you're not doing. You focus on the things that you don't have instead of the things that you have. I am included. So my husband did something this morning, as I started out saying, that annoyed me. And I went into a spiral. I woke up tired. Then he did this. And I literally made myself feel unwell. But when I did that, I refused to claim that feeling. Instead, I gave my body gratitude for always supporting me and for carrying me where I need to go. And I just gave my body gratitude for just being. Then I meditated. And the meditation was really great. It was actually on gratitude. So we focused on gratitude and giving your body gratitude. So I continued to give my body gratitude and give it what it needed. So this morning I felt like I needed to rest and I felt like I was very cold. So I kept myself warm and I rested for a bit. Fortunately, I had that space. So I did that. Like I say, I didn't give the negative thoughts and the negative emotions that were pushing their way in. I didn't ignore them. I let them push past and I saw them and I just kind of let them go. But I did not say, oh yes, I am angry. I did speak my truth. I did communicate with my husband and tell him how I felt about what he did and how it makes me feel that he continues to do that without heeding the fact that I have asked him multiple times not to, and that it doesn't make me feel valued. But having said that, can somebody else make you feel valued? Yes, temporarily. Temporarily, they can make you feel valued. But then the problem with getting the problem with getting validation from other people is that it's a constant mark that you need to be hitting. So you constantly need to be going back to these other people to get validation. So this is just coming through me right now because I also need to hear this, okay? So I'm just going to go with the flow because Spirit is giving me the messages, and I'm just going to give them to you as it's given to me. So the validation that we seek really needs to come from within. But because that's not how we're taught, we're trained from a very early age that our parents validate the things that we do with good boy, good girl, good job, well done, keep it up, keep up the good work. All of these type of reinforcing statements that we make, I also make these statements. We make them thinking that that validation is, beneficial to our child. And yes, it is. It is beneficial in the time. But then they seek that validation. They crave that validation. And when we're no longer giving that validation to our children, they seek it elsewhere. Look at your own life. When we are no longer children, we continue to seek that validation. We seek it from our employers. We seek it from our spouses. We seek it from our children. We seek it from our friends. We seek it from complete strangers. And we hand over our self-worth in exchange for this validation. We hand over our self-esteem in exchange for this validation. When meanwhile, we need to look inside of ourselves and give ourselves that validation. And the first step that we can do, not with ourselves, I'm not going to talk about ourselves today, because I think that we need to stop this cycle. So we need to talk to our children more about them being proud of themselves, about, you see, one thing that I've started to do now that all of my children are in high school, and in hindsight, I wish I had been doing it all along, but asking my children when they get a test grade or a term grade or whatever it is, when they get a time in swimming, or like I said, whatever it is, the thing that they get doesn't matter, but we need to set the focus on them and how they feel about it, and not how we feel about it, because they tell us because they want our validation. See, Mom, look what I got. I dropped 10 seconds on my breaststroke. Are you proud of me? Then, based on your response, Mom, I will determine if I'm proud of me. So we need to stop that shit. Okay, we need to nip that right in the bud right now, because no matter whether we are proud of our children or not, we need to teach our children to self-regulate. So we need to teach them to be proud of themselves, or to determine within themselves when they feel that they need to do more work on a certain subject or activity, or just themselves. And we need them to be able to self-regulate so that they don't need to turn 40, 50, 60 years old and be happening upon my videos, who's also in that age bracket, you know what I mean, who's just now starting to find myself, because up until 2 years ago, I spent so much time seeking validation and people pleasing and hitting the marks and doing the things that I never actually took the time to stop and notice that the sun is out And it's gorgeous. It's hot as hell, but it's gorgeous. And it's giving all of these plants around me much needed light for photosynthesis so that they can feed themselves and they can be nourished. And you see, we as humans can also be nourished in the sun, listening to the birds, even listening to the passing cars, just knowing where technology has taken us, that, is no longer donkey and cart out there or just a man walking, that we have progressed in life, individually and collectively. And we did that through hard work and evolution. But it's now our job to arm our future leaders with a way to do it better than we did. Okay? The same way that our parents taught us to do it better than they did, and their parents taught them to be progressive, to evolve, and each generation has higher marks to meet. But we need to teach our children that the marks are within them. The first mark that they need to meet is within them, and everything else will be achieved through your self-actualization. Because once you become or be the person that you need to be to do the things that you want to do, you automatically have the things that you want to have. So in life, we were taught to do the things. So we work hard so that we can get the good jobs, so that we can work harder, so that we can buy the things that we want. And then we will be happy. And then we will be at peace. And then we will be fulfilled, right? Instead of focusing on being the person who is not only, intelligent, because we all have intelligence. It all depends on what we choose to do with it. And if we all judge ourselves against the mark, the same line, then it would appear that some of us have intelligence and some of us don't. But we were never meant to be judged across this linear chart. We were never meant to be judged by that. We were meant to be judged on more like I guess, when you see the seismic chart with the earthquake, that's how we're supposed to be judging each other and ourselves. And I think that, we can't go back and change how we were conditioned, but we can today change how we condition our children, how we condition the people who are younger than us. So even if you don't have any children, you have people who you have an influence over. And we need to start seeing them for their strengths and not their weaknesses. Because just as, we do to ourselves, oh my gosh, I need to lose 20 pounds. So when the first 10 comes off, instead of saying, oh, great, I've lost 10 pounds, I say, oh my gosh, I still have to lose 10 pounds. We can choose to see the glass as half full, even see the glass as a quarter full, and say, wow, I started with an empty glass and now I'm up to a quarter. We can choose that. And I think it's easier to choose it for somebody else. And then once we start practicing, so just choose to see your child or a younger person who looks up to you and mentor them, and just choose to see them as somebody that you're filling up. And the more that you pour into them with positivity, and the more full that you see them become, the more fulfilled you will feel. It's a wonderful feeling, guys. I challenge you to start and to try, and you'll see that spilling over into your life. So intentionally choose one person who you're going to fill up and fill them up. I guess I said all of that to get around to this. So that's the message. Choose one person that you are going to pour positivity into and fill them up. One love. Love you all.